Welcome to the studio, guys. I'm very happy and excited to announce that I've become a full-time music mentor or teacher, and this is awesome. Ever since I made a video last month, I've gotten more than 30 clients, and I've had over 70 hours of mentoring sessions with my clients, and I'm happy that I can keep doing this, and from now on it's all about sustaining that and, getting more and more people on board so I can just do this 24/7 because that makes me happy and I don't have to work in the office anymore. So in this video, I want to talk about some things that I've learned over the last month, some issues that people have, and I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. If you need individual approach and if you need help with music production, you can reach out to me personally. We will schedule a free call. We will talk about our short-term, long-term goals, try to see if we can find the right format, the right time, and do something one-on-one. But some general issues that I've found are there for most producers. I want to highlight them in this video and I want to talk about them. So let's get started. I have a few bullet points that I want to discuss. So first and foremost, fixing bad habits is essential. Like, this is something that I do full-time now. Unfortunately, most of the time I see that bad habits come from YouTubers and low quality coaches online. So if you actually go to learn music from someone who's not a, whose Spotify doesn't support the fact that he's a musician, let's put it like that, what are you learning? How do you know that what you're doing here is actually going to be helpful? How do you know that the process is effective? One out of 100 reasons why it is important to actually listen to people who release music actively and actually get streams is because they have efficient algorithm and they work fast and you have to learn from them. And a lot of people who are actually like sound designers, sound engineers, but they don't release music and they never finish tracks. The problem with those guys is that they don't know how to work effectively. They concentrate on the wrong things. The reason why they are not releasing music in the first place is because they want to sit in the projects for decades. And you don't want that. You want to release as much music as possible and just improve as you do that. And so one of my most important issues that I've been fixing right now over this last month, and I will be doing so forever, I think so, is fixing bad habits. For example, listening to music with your eyes instead of ears. This is something that I think a lot of people pick up from YouTube, because in the YouTube, people show you like tutorials on how to create bass or this or that, but the actual way that they made those sounds was through randomizing and experimenting and using their experience, rather than you have to go 20% here, then low pass 24%, then you go to matrix and add. This is, guys, this is not how the music is actually made. This is how you reverse engineer what the sound consists of. But a sample is not created by being a mathematician, a physician, whatever. You just have to listen to a loop, like add a drum loop, add like a stupid bass sample like a sawtooth and start experimenting with it. Then you understand what you're doing. Then you understand the context. Listen to like a reference track. And then you at least you know that you're doing something productive here. And maybe just maybe, the sound is not going to be exactly as you would have expected it to be, but it would work perfectly in the context of the drums that you have. So, that is interesting. Sometimes the bass doesn't sound really cool on its own, but it's really good in the context of the drums. So this is inefficient. Working on a sample individually, independently, like not listening, isolating, is absolutely ineffective. So here's another example. Whenever I have a client and we work on some of his project, and then I feel like, for example, his drums miss some of the layers, and I'm gonna be like, hey, you want to add this drum loop right here so we can see how it sounds? The guys, well, a lot of you guys, what you do is you download the sound and you just drop it into the project. And then I can tell you like, okay, you should pull it down by like -10 dBs and cut out everything from 0 to 500, and you'll just do it. You'll just do it. You don't listen to the sample. Like, okay, here is the right algorithm, you guys. Just remember that, because this is really important. If somebody sends you a sample, first thing you do is you listen to that sample and you imagine in your head what would your song sound like if it had a drum loop like this in your track? This way you develop your memory, you develop your imagination, and you develop the internal understanding of like what is the song made out of. This is very crucial. And only then do you drop the sample. If you're convinced that this sample is good, you drop it into the project and you use your ears, you listen to the loop, and then you gradually pull it down in the loudness to set it to put it in mix in the context. But yeah, this is something that you don't do. Professional composers, what they do is that you send them a sample and sometimes they won't even put it in their song. They'll just hear it and say, yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. You see what I mean? All right. Now, next thing I want to talk about is a 16-bar loop issue. So a 16-bar loop issue is a problem of not being able to get out of a 16-bar loop. So guys, first of all, the only reason why this problem exists for you is because you created an imaginary obstacle. And I know that this is a really big problem for a lot of producers, but that is true. You actually don't have to do anything complex or superstitious to make a song longer. All you need is to download another song or 2 or 3 or 4 that are similar to yours and learn from them. What are they doing? Where is the intro? Where is the drop? How does the build-up sound? And this is so easy. You actually, the problem doesn't exist. So let's say you have a 16-bar drop loop. Next thing you want to do is add like an atmosphere to the drop. For example, you imagine in your head, okay, so now this is the drop part. Now I'm going to copy, paste the same drop, but I'm going to introduce like an arpeggio, like a pad, something like that. So you can introduce them. And now when you have done that and those samples sound really nice in the context of your 32-bar loop, just remove them from the drop and put them in your intro. Boom, you got intro. And there is one more important thing that I want to talk about here. It's not just the 16-bar loop issue, that is something that all of you have, but also a creator's complex, which together creates so many obstacles which shouldn't even exist in the first place. A creator's complex is when a guy wants to make everything from scratch. And this is just a sickness. And I'm guilty of that as well, but this is illness. You have to focus on making music and making it efficiently. First of all, nothing you ever make is your own. You are already making drum and bass. You follow the path that someone else laid out for you. And there's just no way of getting out of it. And also, whenever you create some snare or whatever, somebody must have used the same synth and created a similar snare. And despite the fact that I actually am pro creating own samples, I still think that using layers and samples from some other sources such as Splice, Loopcloud, Sampline, or other similar sources is super beneficial. So when you fix the problem, the creator's complex issue within yourself, if you get on terms with yourself that, all right, it's okay to use samples, it's okay to use help. Like, dudes, even Drake has like 7 co-producers, 14 lyrics writers. This is normal, this is music, it's fine. If you go to Splice, you go there for ideas, you go there for cool sounds. If you want to create an atmosphere for the intro of your song, you can go and buy atmospheric samples like pads, keys, whatever you want from people who just do that 24/7 to get their sample pack on Splice. Are you gonna compete with them? I don't think that you're gonna compete with them. I think that they're always gonna be one step ahead, because somebody who's just super who has narrowed down his skill to creating amazing atmospheres is always going to be one step ahead. And now if you use that sample and you use your own simple pad, you have so many rich harmonies and you can use them in the intro of your song. You can use guitars, you can use vocals, all of that stuff. Using vocal will help you to build a song around a vocal, delete that vocal afterward and get a singer, and boom, you got a song. So like a lot of those things help you to get out of 16-bar loop and help you to get out of that creator complex syndrome. This is something that I made up. This is non-scientific, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk about unnecessary sounds, okay? A lot of people try to add unnecessary sounds in their songs. This is super, this is a big problem among beginners, especially like if you try to make a lead melody. you add so many keys, like it's so many switches, so many transitions, like melodical changes, that it just makes the song sound weird, and there's no simple easy to read melody there. And this is because instead of using space like delays and reverbs and stuff like that and release tails, what you guys do is you make a short, dry, boring sound, and you know that it's short, dry and boring, and now you try to add anything in the song just to make it more full. And first thing that comes to mind is adding extra keys, adding extra effects, extra instruments, and then it go like in the more extreme cases, it's adding like 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 compressors, saturators on master channel just to bring out the missing qualities. But the song still sounds like shit, and the reason is because you should actually concentrate on making less sounds, but sound so that they would sound more full. Like use reverbs, use delays, make more simple melodies, make more simple mid basses, don't add 4 layers, don't add extra heavy basses because they will destroy your mix down. This is very, very important. Use equalizers, and your ears are going to thank you, and your listeners as well, because your friends, trust me, they're not happy about those demos that you're sending them. I know that from personal experience. So yeah, I hope that some of these issues that I've covered today, you will at least pay attention more to what you're doing right now. Hopefully that these bad habits will go away. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope that this was helpful. If you still have some bad habits or some problems, reach out to me. Let's try to book a sesh and I see how I can help you. Have a wonderful time of day, and thank you for watching this video. Bye.